Have you ever gotten to the end of a day and say, oh, where has this day gone? I mean, I did a lot, but I don't really feel like I got a lot done. Well, I'm going to challenge you to actually do a look-back audit. What I'd like you to do is go to your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar, or you could even find one online at Google, do 15-minute or 30-minute calendar and print out that day's calendar, or do this for a week, even better. And every 15 minutes, if you really want to be great, every 15 minutes you do this. If you want to give yourself a little more leniency, every 30 minutes, you go and you write down what you did for the prior 15 or 30 minutes. On the next 30 minutes, you do the same thing. And at the end of the day, the end of the week, you look at that calendar and say, where did my time go? What was wasteful and what wasn't wasteful? What was wasteful versus impactful? What was not impactful, but also wasn't wasteful because it's going to help you in the future with the impactful events. So impactful in real estate would be making phone calls and having conversations. Non-impactful, but not wasteful, would be going to a webinar where they're practicing scripts. So that way you really know what to say, how to say it, and you're really learning from that. And that can really move you ahead. Right. What's wasteful? Well, we all know it's wasteful. Scrolling endlessly on social media, hoping that we're going to find something that is impactful, that's going to move the needle forward, that you're not going to find. We do it because we like to feel busy. I've said this in a prior video. We look for justification for not getting done the things that we need to get done. Well, I couldn't get them done because I was so busy. Or maybe it's, I go to the gym early in the mornings and I didn't go to the gym this morning, but that's okay because I've gone for the last week, and last night I just didn't get good sleep, so I decided to sleep in a little bit. Not to say that that's absolutely wrong if you do it as the exception and not the rule, but so many people do it as the rule. They use justifications to say why they're not calling. So 5 days a week, you should be calling, right? Maybe even 6 or 7, but let's just say 5 days a week, you should be making your calls. And yet you make them 1 or 2 days a week. Or instead of 2 or 3 hours a day, you're half hour this one day, you don't make calls the next day, you're busy on a couple appointments the next day that, by the way, you allowed to break into your schedule because you could have moved those appointments around in most cases. And the next couple of days, I don't know, it was a busy week. I needed to get a lot more done. Maybe I need to go in this class. I got to do continuing education, and you avoid those things. And that's all that justification for not doing what you should be doing. Now, instead, that should be the exception, not the rule. It should be a non-negotiable that I am going to do something every single day. Let's call it calls. I'm going to do my calls every single day without fail. Now, if something immovable comes in and you have no choice but to do it, you're making a doctor's appointment. The doctor was 3 months out on their appointment list, and the only appointment they had was at 8:30 in the morning, so therefore you aren't able to make your calls on that morning. Well, that was the exception. That happened once in a month or 3 months or 6 months. Think about it like an employer, a big corporate employer that runs a point system. Run a point system on yourself where you only get 5 or 7 points in the year. And maybe it's a half a point if you defer it, but you still do it. So you move your calls from 8:30 to 10:30 to 4 to 6. And you didn't do it intentionally because you're hoping to get more people on the phone. You did it because something got in the way of the 8:30 to 10:30. And maybe that's a half point. But use a point system and think about it. Would you fire yourself? Are you doing a great job? So use that look back system, really get into it, get granular, and look at what moves the needle. So that way you can make sure that you are putting the right amount of time into the right things in order to succeed at a much, much higher level.